Zurich. George Soros, the billionaire investor and liberal donor, sat in his hotel suite by Lake Zurich this week, lamenting the turn much of the world has taken in recent years. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. His favored presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, lost to President Trump, whose America First platform runs counter to the globalism Soros embraces. Trump, he said, is willing to destroy the world. The European Union, which Soros once hoped would be so successful that he could end his charitable work in the region, is contending with the impending loss of Britain and a rise of anti-immigrant sentiment. And Soros himself has emerged as a political target in elections from Hungary to California, where his donations have been used as a cudgel against the causes he supports. The 87-year-old Holocaust survivor, who has poured much of his fortune into promoting liberal values around the globe, is now confronting a wave of nationalist sentiment washing against issues he has championed. But rather than recede from public life in his twilight years, Soros has decided to push even harder for his agenda, he told the Washington Post in a rare interview. The bigger the danger, the bigger the threat, the more I feel engaged to confront it, Soros said Thursday. Wearing an open collar shirt, he spoke animatedly for an hour, sitting at a table in his suite after an appearance at a Human Rights Watch conference. So in that sense, yes, I redouble my efforts. Soros's willingness to remain in the fray comes as he faces renewed vilification from a wide-ranging group of opponents that includes actress Roseanne Barr and Russian President Vladimir Putin. He has been accused of being an all-powerful puppet master, a Nazi sympathizer and the person controlling the Democratic Party. He acknowledges that the attacks can blunt his impact. It makes it very difficult for me to speak effectively because it can be taken out of context and used against me, Soros said. For all the billions of dollars at his disposal, Soros is also being forced to reckon with limits on his political influence in the United States. He acknowledged that he did not see Trump's election coming. Apparently, I was living in my own bubble, he said. Soros, who plans to spend at least $15 million in 2018 races, has already faced some setbacks this cycle. His bid to replace several district attorneys in California with challengers seeking changes to the criminal justice system was largely unsuccessful in Tuesday's elections. We ran into a brick wall in California, he said. Soros said he is certain in his assessment of Trump, whom he describes as a narcissist who considers himself all-powerful. But he does not appear settled on the strategy to defeat him. Soros said he disapproves of a campaign by fellow liberal billionaire Tom Steyer to push to impeach the president, saying he would only support such an effort if Democrats retake Congress this year and gain Republican support. Soros, who said he wants to avoid dividing the party, also refused to pick favorites among the emerging crop of 2020 Democratic presidential contenders. But there is one prospective candidate he said he hopes does not get the nod: Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York. He blames Gillibrand for pushing the resignation of former Senator Al Franken, whom I admire, Soros said, in order to improve her chances. Franken, Minnesota, resigned in January after a number of women alleged that he touched them inappropriately. Gillibrand was a leading voice urging her fellow Democrat to quit. She declined to comment. Earlier this year, Patrick Gospar, the former Obama White House political director who now runs Soros's Open Society Foundations, said he asked the billionaire how he viewed the organization's role at a time when so much of Soros's work is under assault. This is the moment we were built for, Soros responded, according to Gospar. The Hungarian-born Soros, who became one of the world's wealthiest people by managing hedge funds and betting on currency changes, has given away billions of dollars to groups promoting human rights, democracy and liberal causes. His New York-based Open Society Foundations now spends $940 million a year in 100 countries, promoting values such as free speech and free elections, according to the group. In the United States, the Open Society spends $150 million a year financing groups such as the American Civil Liberties Union and Planned Parenthood. For a period of time, Soros was the largest private donor in Russia, funding initiatives such as an anti-torture program, according to the foundation. 2 years ago, Putin's government effectively banned Soros's group from distributing funds in the country, calling it undesirable and a threat to the fundamentals of the constitutional system. This week, Putin suggested that Soros's spending around the world resembles the kind of political interference that U.S. intelligence officials blame on Russia. He intervenes in things all over the world, Putin told Austrian television. But the State Department will tell you that it has nothing to do with that this is the personal business of Mr. Soros. Elsewhere in Europe, Soros has also come under attack. This year, Viktor Orban, the right-wing Prime Minister of Hungary, won re-election after charging that Soros wanted to flood Europe with Muslim immigrants. Orban said one of his first efforts would be to pass a Stop Soros bill, aimed at